Imagine a world where there is no hunger, no disease, no war, no freezing winters or scorching summers. Every single need you have is met the exact second you have it. Sounds like paradise, right? Well, in the mid 20th century, a visionary scientist decided to build this exact paradise. Not for humans, but for mice. He wanted to see what happens when life becomes too perfect. What he discovered didn't just shock the scientific community, it sparked a terrifying question about the future of human civilization. Welcome to the story of Universe 25 and the Calhoun effect. Our story begins with Dr. John B. Calhoun, an American ethologist, a scientist who studies animal behavior. Calhoun spent decades building environments for rodents. He wasn't just throwing mice in cages, he was building miniature empires. Over his career, he constructed 24 separate rodent environments, and every single time, he noticed a strange, repeating pattern of social breakdown. By 1968, he was ready for his ultimate experiment. He called it Universe 25. It was designed to be a flawless, disease-free, predator-free paradise that could comfortably house thousands of mice. Universe 25 was a masterpiece of engineering. It was a square enclosure, 9 feet on each side, with walls so smooth the mice couldn't climb out. It featured 256 nesting boxes, 16 walk-in food hoppers that never ran out, and unlimited clean water. There were no predators, and the temperature was kept at a blissful 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The cage was meticulously cleaned to prevent disease. In June 1968, Calhoun introduced the founding members, 4 pairs of healthy, genetically diverse mice, 4 males, 4 females. They had just entered a world of zero scarcity. The experiment progressed through distinct phases. Phase A was the adjustment period. The 8 mice got to know their new home, marked their territories, and started breeding. By day 104, Phase B began, the golden age. The population exploded. Every 55 days, the number of mice doubled. They were healthy, well fed, and safe. It seemed Dr. Calhoun had successfully engineered heaven on earth, but exponential growth cannot last forever. Even in a utopia, space is finite. By day 560, Universe 25 hit a milestone. The population reached 2,200 mice. Interestingly, the enclosure was designed to hold up to 3,800, so they weren't physically running out of room yet, but they were running out of social space. In nature, when a population grows too dense, younger animals migrate to new territories. But here, there was nowhere to go. This brought us into Phase C, equilibrium and stagnation. The doubling rate slowed from 55 days to 145 days. And this is where the paradise turned into a psychological horror show. Without physical or social roles to fill, the traditional societal structure of the mice collapsed. In the wild, alpha males protect their territory and harem. In Universe 25, the older males became exhausted from constant social interactions and abandoned territory defense. This left the younger males completely lost. They had no societal roles to fight for. They became social outcasts. Calhoun called them the withdrawn ones. They gathered in the center of the enclosure, completely passive, until an outburst of random, senseless violence would trigger them to attack one another without cause. With the males failing to protect the nests, the burden fell entirely on the nursing females. The stress of constant intrusion changed their behavior drastically. They became hyper-aggressive. However, this aggression wasn't just directed at intruders, it bled into their maternal instincts. Mothers began attacking their own young, abandoning them, or forcing them out of the nest prematurely. As a result, infant mortality skyrocketed to over 90% in some sections of the universe. Breeding rates plummeted. Then came the most bizarre subculture of Universe 25, the beautiful ones. These were younger males who completely withdrew from the chaos of society. They didn't fight for territory, they didn't court females, and they didn't mate. They had only 3 activities: eating, sleeping, and grooming themselves. Their fur remained pristine, unscarred by battle. They were physically healthy, but psychologically dormant. They had completely lost the capacity to function as social or biological entities. By day 600, Universe 25 entered its final phase, Phase D, the death phase. Calhoun coined a phrase for what he was witnessing: the behavioral sink. This is the process where all normal behavior collapses under the weight of high population density and social stress. Even though food and water remained limitless, reproduction stopped entirely. The remaining mice had forgotten how to interact, court, or care for young. The population hit a point of no return. Calhoun concluded that a species undergoes two deaths. The first is the death of the spirit, the loss of purpose, social structure, and behavioral capacity. The second is the physical death of the body. Once the spirit dies, the extinction of the species is mathematically inevitable. In May 1973, less than 5 years after it began, the last male in Universe 25 died. The utopia had engineered its own absolute extinction. When Calhoun published his findings, it sent shockwaves through the world. The media immediately applied the Calhoun effect to humanity. People looked at the booming megacities of the 1970s, the rising crime rates, urban decay, and falling birth rates in developed nations, and wondered, are we living in our own version of Universe 25? Are we heading toward our own behavioral sink? But before we panic, modern scientists urge us to take a deep breath. Humans are not mice. Later critics pointed out that Universe 25 didn't fail because of overcrowding, but because of social distribution. The design of the cages allowed dominant mice to control the food and isolate others. Furthermore, humans possess something mice do not: culture, technology, and the ability to abstractly manage our space and social roles. We build upward, we create digital spaces, and we adapt. Ultimately, the Calhoun effect serves less as a literal prophecy and more as a profound philosophical warning. It reminds us that a meaningful life requires more than just comfort and survival. True health, for a society or an individual, demands purpose, struggle, and meaningful connection. Without a reason to strive, even the most perfect utopia can become a cage. Thank you for watching. If you found this dive into behavioral history fascinating, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments. Do you see signs of Universe 25 in our world today? See you next time.